Okay then. So I did a Tom MacDonald song, maybe last month before. I don't know. But I figured it's time for another one. I need to vent on something, and that last song was really good. I felt very good after listening to that song. I was like, yay! Finally, somebody gets this. So I thought I would choose Fake Woke this time. That was one of the ones that was definitely requested more than others. Plus the name of it, I'm like, yeah, I gotta check this out. So if you don't like lyric reviews, go to that time. You can skip the whole lyric review. For the rest of us, if there is anybody left, let's see. There's so much in here. I'm like, I'll try not to make it too long, but I love this first line, how he's like, okay, everybody says that I'm controversial, and yet you have this Cardi B that's a role model for 12-year-old girls. And I'm like, yes, A+. A lot of these female rappers, I'm like, the stuff that they sing about and their music videos, I'm like, is disgusting. Disgusting. And we have all these children listening to it and looking up to it, and I'm like, no. Now, and I can't say anything about them as a person because I don't know them. I'm just talking about the music in general, at least the stuff that I've seen, stuff that I've heard from them. That's just me though. I'm like, yeah. Talking about rappers on Xanax at the top of the billboards, but if he mentions race, then he's scared he's gonna get killed. Yeah. So like, why is the Xanax okay, but mentioning a race in a song is you'll get killed for that? Yeah, this thing about where people are like, you can't be my fan if you voted for Trump, or you can't shop here if you voted for Trump. It's like, stop it. Yeah. Ashamed to be American. That's the biggest thing that bugs me right now. I'm like, if you're ashamed to be American and you don't like the government here, go somewhere that you like the government. There are plenty of governments around the world that are socialist and communist and all these things that you are looking for. Why do you have to stay here? Why do you have to change it for the rest of us? Like, let's keep America the way it is, and you can go to another country and experience what it is to be there. I mean, yeah, anyway. Cancel culture runs the world. It label everything as homophobic or racist. Yes. And it drives me nuts. I'm like, school just started, and some of the things that have been said in the school, in the junior highs, I'm like, really? You can't say anything. It's ridiculous. But if you're white, then you're privileged, guilty by association. And I'm like, yeah, that's what it feels like. If you're like, I'm a white person, well, I'm automatically privileged. If you're a black person, you're automatically oppressed. Automatically, you can't be as good, which I think is totally horrible. I mean, like, you can't. We just watched the Olympics. Did you see how many athletes of color there were there that like rose up and became like the best? And I don't know. I'm like, I hate division. I hate it. Childhood heroes got Me Too'd, or they're rapists. Yeah, I noticed a lot of that's coming out too, and I'm like, there's a lot of people that I grew up absolutely loving that are being taken down for stuff. And I know some of them really needed to be, but yeah. Tiny screens think we're free. They knew race would be the game they needed to play. Yes, and the media drives me nuts too. So I really don't watch TV anymore. I pretty much just watch YouTube, and if there's an ad that comes on I don't like, I just take the headphones off. Like, don't care. Don't care about your feelings. What's censorship? Difference between hate speech and speech that you hate. Black Lives Matter's stupidest name. The system's screwing everybody exactly the same. So yeah, like maybe because they're making it seem that, you know, one group of people is being targeted more than another, but everybody's getting the exact same treatment, maybe. This one, spend Thanksgiving Day with food and family without being accused of celebrating Native casualties. I know everything's like, oh, that offended me, but that did offend me, because I'm like, I am not celebrating Thanksgiving for the death of Native Americans. I'm not like, yay! No. Like, Thanksgiving, I mean, growing up, you're always taught, you hear about the story, the Pilgrims and the Indians are coming together, and they're thankful for stuff. But for me, Thanksgiving has always been family, it has always been food, it has always been, like, that entire month is just a month to remember what you're thankful for. I'm like, I hate when people are like, oh, I don't celebrate because, you know, that's just celebrating genocide. I'm like, no, it's not. I'm not celebrating genocide. Okay, sorry. See, this song is already getting me onto my box here. Black and white, bigots, libtards, I love that word. Libtard. Defund the police. I'm like, I hate that too. I'm like, seriously? Yeah, they're already underfunded. Order food and call the cops and see what reaches you first. Yeah, the food. Segregation ended. I'm like, okay, well, I always thought that was true, because, like, you don't see any segregation signs anymore, but then at the end of that, it's like, it didn't end because we're bringing it back up again, and we're segregating ourselves again. Like, we're doing this ourselves this time. Like, we're kind of going backwards is what it feels like, and I don't like that. Use violence to get peace. Politicians for sale. Censoring facts. Claim it's for safety. Removing information. Yeah. Trying to change amen to amen and women. Instead of asking God for the strength to keep winning, we'd go ahead. We cheat to get ahead and then ask him for forgiveness. That definitely that definitely rings true. I'm like, you do the bad things that you're not supposed to do, and then you're like, oh, please forgive me. And you know what, it reminds me of some people that I won't be naming, where they like act however they want, and they can be abusive, and then sorry fixes everything. Well, I'm so sorry, but then they do it again. You know what I mean? That's the vicious cycle. Instead of just trying to be a strong person and to keep being better, you know? Feminism, you know, and feminism, I'm kind of wondering where feminism is with all this transgender stuff, like, coming into women's sports and winning. I'm like, where are the feminists? Like, where are the women that are like, no, I know you identify as a woman, I will call you she, you can be a woman like that, but when it comes to your DNA, your chromosomes, your biology, even if you're taking estrogen, or if you're, you know, taking hormones, like, you're still physically, biologically a male, and going into a female sport is not, it seems like cheating females again, like just another way to put females down, put women down. I don't know, that could just be me, but that's kind of how I'm like, no, don't trust anyone who bleeds for a week and don't die, just kidding. But everything else I said is right, okay. Okay. wow. Yes, I think every one of these songs that I do is going to be like my soapbox. I'm going to be like, yes! I'm going to have to try not to like be like, yo! Okay. How long did I just take? 10 minutes. Ugh. Okay, well. Here we go. Sorry, guys. Let's listen to this one.
I think it's crazy I'm the one who they labeled as controversial, and Cardi B is the role model for 12-year-old girls. There's rappers pushing Xanax at the top of the billboard, but if I mention race in a song, I'm scared I'll get killed for it. It's backwards, it's getting exponentially dumb. It's more difficult to get a job than purchase a gun. Eminem used to gay bash and murder his mom, and now he doesn't want fans if they voted for Trump. We're ashamed to be American. You should probably love it, cause you have the right to hate it and not get stoned to death in public. As children we were taught how to walk and talk.
Now that was another thing too, like I'm like, if you spoke out of like this in any other country, you're gonna go missing. You're gonna be dead. I'm like, I think people take for granted that you can actually say these things here, and it's part of the Constitution, your freedom of speech. And everybody wants to get rid of the Constitution. I'm like,
but the system wants adults to sit down and shut up. Cancel culture runs the world now, the planet went crazy. Label everything we say as homophobic or racist. If you're white, then you're privileged, guilty by association. All our childhood heroes got Me Too'd or they're rapists. They never freed the slaves. They realized that they don't need the chains. They gave us tiny screens, we think we free cause we can't see the cage. They knew that race war would be the game they'd need to play. For people to big teams, they use the media to feed the flame. They so fake woke. Facts don't care about feelings. They know they won't tell me.
He needs to be in the heavy metal scene. That's where everybody always flips off. Well, of course, I don't really know much about rap because I don't like it, but I don't. That's just what it seems to be.
To believe in they so fake woke, same old safe zones. They so fake woke. Facts don't care about your feelings. I think it's crazy how these people screaming facts, but they fake woke. Hate their neighbor cause he wears a mask or he stays home. Has a daughter but his favorite artist said he slays hoes. Picks her up from school, music slaps on the way home. Censorship's an issue cause they choose what they erase. There's a difference between hate speech and speech that you hate. I think Black Lives Matter was the stupidest name, when the system's screwing everyone exactly the same. I just wanna spend Thanksgiving Day with food and my family, without being accused of celebrating native casualties. We got so divided, it's black and white and political. Republicans are bigots, libtards if you're liberal. There's riots in our streets and it's just getting worse. Y'all screaming deep on the police, y'all are genius for sure. They're underfunded already, they're way too busy to work. Order food and call the cops, see what reaches you first. Segregation ended, that's a lie in itself. That was a strategy to make us think they were trying to help. They knew that racism was hot if they designed it to sell. We buy up every single box and divide us ourselves. They so fake woke. Facts don't care about feelings. They know they won't tell me what to believe in. They so fake woke, same old safe zones. They so fake woke. Facts don't care about your feelings. We use violence to get peace and wonder why it isn't working.
I already went over the lyrics, so there's not too much else to say. But I feel like I have to pause right here so I don't go through the whole music video. I don't know how MacDonald is on copyright here on these reactions. So, let's go now.
Facts don't care about your feelings. We use violence to get peace and wonder why it isn't working. That's like sleeping with a football team to try and be a virgin. Politicians are for sale and someone always makes the purchase, but you and I cannot afford it, our democracy is worthless. If a man has mental illness, call him crazy, say it silently. When country's going crazy, we accept it as society. Get sick and take a pill, when the side effects get you high, you get addicted like these rappers dying fighting with sobriety. Censoring the facts turns our children into idiots. They claim it's for our safety, I'll tell you what it really is. Removing information that empowers all the citizens. The truth doesn't damage points of view that are legitimate. They're trying to change amen to amen and women. How'd we let them make praying a microaggression? Instead of asking God for the strength to keep winning, we cheat to get ahead and then we ask him for forgiveness. Feminism used to be the most righteous of fights, but these days it feels like they secretly hate guys. I don't trust anyone who bleeds for a week and don't die. I'm just kidding, but everything else that I said is right. They so fake woke. Facts don't care about feelings. They know
Okay. I love that he can just say stuff. I'm like, just now that I'm through with this and I'm getting ready to close this out, I'm like, should I post this or not? Because like some of the opinions that I've said in here, like I really am afraid of hurting somebody's feelings. You know, growing up and you get bullied and it's, you know how it feels, but I'm like, I don't know, it really tears me into pieces here where it's like, okay, this is my opinion, but it's not meant to hurt you, you know, it's, gosh, I'm still like, should I post this? I'm afraid to post this, because I'm like, you know what, you do you, as they say, and it's not up to me to judge, you know, it's not up to me to judge, but there are certain things that I consider fair, certain things I consider unfair, and you know what, I think that's kind of the stuff that's going around right now, is whether things that are fair and unfair, well, that's not fair. So I'm like, you know what, I'll post it, but we'll see. Please do not be mean to me. Of course, if I say that, then people will. They always do that. So you know what? If you are, I'll just ignore it. I always ignore it anyway. So, okay, comment and like and subscribe. And then, you can find me on social media. Come say hi. Yeah. Can't wait to read the comments on this one. I felt a little better after posting the last one when people were commenting and were like, okay, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. So I'm like, hopefully that's going to be the same thing this time. Love this guy. Love how he can say the things that I feel, and that there are people out there. So anyway, that's all I got. So I already said comment. Okay, so hopefully I'll see everybody next time and do another one of these pretty soon. Yeah. Okay, so anyway, see you next time.